The last part of this process, breathwork process, breathing process, is mindfulness. Um, I wouldn't say that mindfulness is the goal of breathing because I think breathing is a goal in and of itself. But mindfulness is the result that you want for your life. And the reason I say that is because a mindful life is a really, really long one. I think most people will look at the last year. I mean, think back to last year's Christmas. Does that seem like a snap in time? I mean, can you not believe that Christmas is already coming up again, or a birthday, or some major event that happens every year? Do you find yourself constantly surprised by how short that time feels and seems? Because if you do, it's that time has taken over, and you are no longer governed by your own evolution, but by the evolution of time imposed upon you. So your life is governed by markers in time that society gives you to mark time. Christmas, New Year's, Veterans Day, birthday, whatever it is. Even day to day, even your job, if you're doing the exact same thing every single day, time will start to become very powerful on you. You'll feel like time has just been lost. And the way to reclaim time is through a mindful life, because in a mindful life, you are doing and seeing everything in a very present state. So a lot of Eastern philosophy will say you can practice mindfulness in tasks which are usually mechanized. So washing the dishes. Most of us, when we wash the dishes, we're washing the dishes but thinking of everything else in the world but the dishes that you're washing. Great philosophers, great thinkers will say that's actually the time to be the most mindful. That's the time to practice mindfulness, because that's the time when the process is easy. The mind can very easily wash dishes. It's not complicated. So that's the time to actually focus, because your mind doesn't have to think about, how to drive the car, or let me not go there. The mind doesn't have to think about, like, I'm a lawyer. So the mind doesn't have to think about what's the counter argument to that argument. What's the filing deadline for this case, right? It's not a rigorous mind exercise. So take the time when you're washing the dishes and think, I am washing dishes. I am moving my hand in a circular motion. Look at the water. Watch the water. Does it look dirty? Maybe. Does it look clean? Maybe. It doesn't matter. Just look at it. Be there with the dishes. And it sounds so stupid, but it will be so real for you if you practice it. So in things that seem so simple, just be there with it. Don't think outside of the dishes. Just wash the dishes. Take the time and do them well. Also, when you're living a mindful life, you start to do things really well, really thoroughly. And when you do things thoroughly, you find success. It's when our mind is in a million other places that we do the task at hand poorly, and then we never find success. Never. Because what we give, the work product we create, it's more than imperfect, it's flawed. And I believe deeply that when you are there with whatever you're doing, if it's not the dishes, if it's a paper, or if it's a book you're writing, or if it's a log of financials that you're building, if you're doing it mindfully, you don't have to redo it. You don't have to erase. You don't have to recalculate. You don't have to redo what you did, which so much of us spend most of our lives redoing things that we already have done because we did those things mistakenly or in a flawed way. But when you're there, the second you mess up, you'll know it. You will know it, because that's what a mindful life is. It's present. When you do a miscalculation, you see that resulting number, you're not going to just move on to the next number. You're going to look at that number and you're going to think, that doesn't feel right. And then you're going to recalculate and you're going to figure out whatever it is that you messed up. And that can be applied to anything. Anything that you do mindfully, anything that you do in a very present state, you will do well. And it also lengthens time. Because when you're thinking about, I'm moving in a circular motion, oh, that water looks dirty. Ah, wait, what's in that? What was in that dish? Look at it. Oh, that was oil. I need to scrub the oil. When you're there, even though it might sound boring, it will lengthen time. You will be with that act of washing the dishes will be a moment in your life rather than just something that mindlessly passes. It will actually be a real experience for you. And that's what we're trying to do ultimately with a mindful life, is create a life full of experiences rather than a life. A life marked by a million experiences will be a very full life. But if you do everything mindlessly, then you won't have really that many experiences to go on, and things will kind of slip away. And you'll forget how many things in life you actually did. And oftentimes now, especially with social media, we only remember big events. And big events can only happen so often. So our life, when we look back on it, will feel like a few major events, but we won't remember all the small stuff that makes life really meaningful. And I can say from personal experience that since I opened Hyperslow, I should say, since I began the process of opening Hyperslow, from idea stage to today, which has been really only like a year, it feels like an eternity. Every day is a new day, and I treat every day like a new day. I try to do everything mindfully. And I mean, I'm not perfect in any way, and I'm nowhere close, and nobody is. So any guru, any yogi, any teacher that you find that claims to live a perfect life, go to a different guru. Go to somebody else, because we're all human, and we all have the same stresses and anxieties and stuff. It's just that some of us find a nice way of dealing with them, and some of us get through a lot of the major ones, really. I mean, I do feel like I've transcended a lot of the day-to-day stresses. Now the things I'm concerned about are things of purpose. And when you live a mindful life, you start to move towards purpose, living a purposeful life, because each experience is a building block on itself. And the last year for me feels like an eternity, because every day was lived with purpose, in the sense that I would look back on the day before and I would say, okay, how can this day grow on that? And how can each experience within this day grow on the moments that came before? And I'm trying to create maybe not a linear path, but at least a mindful path, so that I know where life is going based on how present I am. And the second I start to kind of lose that presence and I start to let stresses overtake me, I do wander in a lot of different directions. And so I think for your purpose, if you want a long life, if you want one that feels like an eternity, start to do things slowly. And that's why we call our business Hyperslow, because when you're in our space, life slows down. Avoid things which speed life up. Movies, music, people. A lot of those things can speed life up for you, even if subconsciously. Fast music will speed your life up, I promise you. It sounds nice, but it's like a drug. A really good pop song is like a drug. It makes you feel really good for 4 minutes. And then when the song is over, you either need to listen to it again, and I know you all have experienced that, where you hear a song and you immediately put it on again. Or you have to jump to another song that's just as momentous, just as beautiful, just as cool, just as major chord sounding. But that music is affecting you subconsciously. You start to only want and crave those happy, fluffy songs because it feels nice. Try to start avoiding that stuff. Try to start creating more intricacy, more balance in your life. And try to bring slowness into your life. Bring meditativeness, mindfulness, breathing, yoga. All of these things will slow life down, and your body will then inherently reject the things which speed it up. It will. The mind will push away the things which give it anxiety. And at some point, you don't even have to do it yourself. Your body will tell you, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to be around that person or that thing. I don't want to watch that horror movie because I know the negative feelings which it brings in me. So anyway, that's a long-winded way of advising everyone to take a step in a mindful direction, to take a step towards a slow, happy life.